Okay, so we're just going to connect any minute now into the Facebook group. Okay, there we go. Hi everybody, this is a very exciting live with Layla this month because I am joined with the lovely Suze, and I'm pretty sure by now you guys know why we do this monthly live with Layla. It used to be something that I did only over in one of our memberships, but I know that every time we have a different industry expert coming to me and talking about what they're doing in the career to make big money moves and big career moves, I want more than just our members to hear their stories. So we've got the lovely Suze. How are you doing, Suze?
Hello.
So you're at the office now, aren't you?
Yeah.
So before we talk about what you're doing right now, let's just kind of take it back a little bit.
Okay.
So how long have you been in the industry for?
Over 20 years. It's like 22 or 23 years, something
amazing.
like that.
Amazing. And are you predominantly a nail professional? Are you nail and beauty, hair and beauty? What is it
So I have trained in most things. I've done beauty, nails, holistics and hair, but always came back to nails. Nails was always my thing. It always drew me in. I think for me, I like the transformation of a set of nails and how a client feels, and also the fact that I can actually talk during that treatment, whereas lots of other treatments you can't talk, and as you know, I like to talk. I'm not very good at staying quiet, so doing a facial for me was like, well, I can't speak for a whole hour, really.
I love that. It's a bit like the first time not the first time you and I spoke, but when I was on your podcast. I mean, I think it was officially 1 hour, but how long did we actually talk for?
It was at least an hour afterwards. It's got to have been. It's like It was like half the day, wasn't it?
I love it. Oh, there's my phone. Okay, so the reason of this live with Layla, it's because what I'm doing, and I know that you know this, Suze, but maybe really more for the new members of this group.
Yeah,
I love to bring stories and opportunities in front of our audience so they can realize that their skills that they've gone and paid at their college, their nail course that they've taken at a nail school, for example. I'm going to keep it very nails because you are predominantly a nail tech, but this really applies to any corner of our industry, really. We've been wired in such a way that it's like, okay, I've gone to nail school, I've got my nail qual, I'm going to sit at my nail desk, and the way I make money is here and here only. And I'm here to be that voice to say, that's so wrong. It's so old strategy. It's so old.
It's not wrong. If somebody wants to do that, then that's fine.
Yeah.
But there are other things that we can all do. It's like, I think, you know this, as a nail professional, I'm going to say in particular, because that is what we're talking about, it's very easy to just keep adding more and more clients to your book, and your days get longer, your week gets longer. And by that point, you feel like you can't step back because, you've got used to earning all that money. You don't want to let those clients down. And you end up kind of on as I call it, a little hamster wheel, because you're just going to keep going and going and going. And then you don't actually give yourself time to step back and go, what is it I actually want to do? Because I've done all these clients, I've done all this amazing nail art and whatever else you've done. And you kind of need to step back and go, is there more? Have I got more to offer? Do I want to train in more? Do I want to go and there's so many sidelines that we can go in this industry. And I think people do need to talk about that a bit more, maybe, because there is more out there than just sitting at the nail desk churning out amazing nails and stuff.
Now, I'm big on multiple streams of income. I've been personally doing that myself as pretty much the beginning of my career. So again, I want to be that voice to help people take their skills and learn to leverage them. So let's talk about you and your journey. So you had a salon, then you moved home, or have I just totally made that up?
So I had I've had 2 home salons, one pre-divorce and one after divorce, I'm going to say. A long time ago, because I'm married again, so let me just put that out there. But so I had a home salon, things happened. I lost that salon. So then years later, I went back into another home salon, started up, built up my clientele till I felt ready. I wasn't quite ready. In a year's time, I was going to start looking for premises. And I was basically, I lived in a village and everybody knows everybody. And basically an estate agent contacted me and said, there's this property available. We think it'd be great for you. Have you ever thought about it? And I went, oh, I'll come and have a look. And as you do, you kind of get carried away with, I was going to do it in a year, but let's make it work now. And that's exactly what I did. I took on a large salon. I had an upstairs and a downstairs. So I had a beauty treatment room and nails downstairs and stuff. And I did that. And then over the years, I kind of, as I said, I kind of focused more on nails and came away from the beauty. So I downsized the salon. So it was just a nail salon. And like you,
at that point, you became an expert. You went from being,
because you end up, and this is where I think a lot of us go wrong, is you think you start a salon and you think you need to do it all. Mm-hmm. So you start training, you know, I trained in spa treatments and Indian head massage, diet and nutrition, all amazing things. And I've got knowledge from all of those that I do use in my everyday career now. But you can't specialize in all of those treatments. You can't stay up to date and stay really good, because you need to be doing nails every day to be really good. You need to be doing like a facial every day to really understand, you know, the skin and the massage that you're going to use and all those kind of things. So yeah, I moved away and just kind of had a salon that was just nails. But the same as you, I had different revenues coming in. So just because obviously there was only so many hours a week I wanted to work. So the hours I didn't work, I had a lady that used the salon to do massage. She had a key. She knew my opening hours. She knew when she could go in. She was a mobile therapist, but occasionally had people that wanted not mobile, but wanted her. So she would use my salon and I would take a commission from her, or like an hourly rate. I also had somebody that had a table of jewellery in the salon, and she would change the jewellery up regularly, and I would earn commission on anything that was sold from that table. So
I did lots of same, by the way, in my salon, exactly the same.
Yeah, you kind of, you just connect. I think for me, I'm always, and you're the same, I know you are, which is why we've spoken a lot. I think for me, it's always about connecting with other people, networking. Wherever you go, there's always an opportunity there. Whoever you come into contact with. I contacted my local florist, who I became very good friends with, and said I wanted fresh flowers within the salon, but could we do a kind of recommending each other? In the end, she was selling with a bunch of flowers, basically at things like Valentine's, Christmas and stuff, my gift vouchers. So if, you know, hubby come in and he's like, you know, late to the party for Valentine's Day, he can come in, buy his wife a treatment, and some amazing flowers and other gifts within the florist. But it was also promoting my salon at the same time, as well as earning, you know, money from it. So yeah, I always saw different ways of which I could connect.
Collaboration is so powerful, isn't it?
Yeah. And because when you really form those friendships and with other businesses, and it does become more of a friendship, you know, they're more likely to recommend you because they know you. And it all goes back to the know, like and trust. You know, we talk about that. If people know, like and trust you, but it may be the case of somebody's gone into the florist, but they don't know me, but they know, like and trust the florist. So if she gives a recommendation, they're going to sign up for it because, you know, she's vouched for me in a way. Do you know what I mean? And that goes further than just having sometimes like a website and stuff where you can't give the personality and the recommendation and all the rest of it. So yeah, I was always seeing possibilities everywhere.
I love that. So are you still hands-on as a nail tech? Do you still have a home nail business now?
So I do a couple of friends and family just to keep my hand in, which is what I've always done for the last 23 years, is even if I went to work in an office during the day because it suited my children when they were small, I was still doing nails and beauty in the evenings and occasional weekends because I still wanted to keep my hand in and know that, you know, what was going on in the industry and the latest tips, hints, techniques and all that kind of stuff. So, and partly because of my job now, I do still need to know the product. You know, I now work for Layla Bell, so I need to understand the products that we retail inside out. So when somebody asks me a question, I can answer it, you know. So yeah, and I do my own.
As a nail tech, because we do have a slightly different language, don't we?
Yeah.
We use different terminology to like normal conversations or certain words. And what you
actually just let me just jump in on that. My first day at Layla Bell, I'd been here half an hour. I was in a meeting and the marketing team were talking about something and I was like, no, you can't say that. No, we don't talk like that. We don't use those words. You need to say it like this. I'd literally been here half an hour and I was like, nail techs don't talk like that. I have to say this.
It's true though. I've done the same with my marketing team. It's like that word isn't what we say. We say this word, and now they know this on their own backs. But you're absolutely right, and that does happen. And what you just said then as well, that so you really just do nails for friends and family to keep your fingers in it, which helps you sell products in the new role that you've got now, which we will come on to. It's very much the same with my educators in the creative beauty group. In their contract, they had to attend at least one trade exhibition a year. Now, yes, most of the times we did it as a team and, you know, we would go together and it was all amazing. But contractually, they had to show up to show that they wanted to know what was up and coming in our industry. So they had the most current, you know, information. Again, when it comes to holiday leave, contractually, they have in between Christmas and New Year off as holiday. And what did they do with their skills? They went and performed treatment. So they were actually getting paid twice, and it kept them on, you know, just kept their skills afresh. So it does work. It really does work. Really, you know. I think when people go into education, I don't believe you can be a really, really good educator without still keeping your hand in the treatments, because if you're students are coming in with answers, you know, questions, you know, this has happened to my client, I did everything you said but it didn't. You're always going to have that one client that's the exception to the rule, and what you've taught doesn't work. But you need to be able to troubleshoot with that student. Well, why don't you try this? Why don't you do 2 base coats, 2 top coats, do this under the color, over the color, whatever the case may be. But you can only do that when you understand your own products inside out, because that's what you're teaching. You know, I do truly believe that you do need, like you say, to keep a fresh of what's going on, and maybe even learn different ways and teach your students different ways and teach the company you're working for. Actually, I found you can do this with it and it worked really well. You know, we need that. I'll tell you a funny story. So it was obviously a few years ago. And I had 3 full-time educators, and it was at the height of the nail industry, actually, when gel polish had just hit the market, and it was really, wow, we're going through a transition as a sector, as an industry. So we had a lot of courses on it, you know, all at once. We had our 3 girls, and I won't mention the person, that's kind of irrelevant, but she had done a demo, a liquid and powder demonstration in the class, and it rolled off. Basically, she got the ratio completely wrong. And that moment that I was like, holy shit, like we are talking the talk so much because we're so busy with our education, which is amazing. But the girls weren't actually hands-on anymore, apart from their quick demos in class. They were too busy being full-time educators. So there was 2 things I then introduced at that point. For 2 of them out of the 3, we dropped them to 4 days a week instead of 5. What they did on their 5th day, which was a Friday, which is naturally our quietest day in education, is they were with clients. They built up a clientele just 1 day a week, hands on. So again, it kept skills afresh. And also, when we did have quiet moments, I mean, it was rare back then, but when we did, I had the girls doing each other's nails, you know? So again, it kept their skills nice and, you know, in tip-top form. So I mean, it's like me now. If you were to ask me to do a liquid and powder nail, it would probably lift before I left that door, you know, because I don't do it anymore. So it's so true. As we go into all of these different, you know, opportunities, let's call them that, or different, you know, hats that we wear through our career, we do have to kind of stick with the basics and remind ourselves where we started, kind of thing. You know,
you do. And it depends what part of the industry you go into, whether you need to be doing it or somebody close to you needs to be doing sets of nails as such, and that you're getting feedback from them, you know, because you just need to be able to understand those products inside out. I think now more than ever, the way that the industry's gone, you know, lots of things on the market, good, bad, the ugly, all the rest of it, that we do need to understand our own products and be able to answer those questions, because part of obviously nail tech awareness is people to ask questions and understand what they're using, because at the end of the day, we're using chemicals on somebody's body, you know, and you can't just pick up a bottle from anywhere and start putting it on a paying client. What you do to yourself, you know, is anybody up to you, but what you're doing on a paying client, you do need to understand it inside out, because if things go wrong, which they may do, you know, like you say, if it's lifting off, we need to know why it's lifting off, you know, and if it's not lasting on that client but it lasts on every other client, we need to understand why that specific product isn't lasting on that client, and make changes accordingly, you know. But yeah, we do need to be asking those questions a lot more. We need to become an industry of asking questions.
Oh, for sure. And we've got Facebook groups for that, which takes you very nicely onto what you've just mentioned, the nail tech awareness group. So we have to talk about your group, because it's one of the largest in the industry in the UK. So where did that come from? Because I don't think I was in there for quite a while, actually. I was late to the party. It could be because I'm not a nail tech. It could be because I wasn't using some of the brands that were mentioned.
Yeah.
I've got my own brands, being a distributor for my other
It definitely wasn't a party, for sure. There have been many tears in that group. On my end, many tears. So the group nail tech awareness just exploded, you know, and it's still exploding. We're about to hit 32,000 techs from over 100 countries, predominantly UK. I don't know off the top of my head at the moment, but I think we're something like 27,000 techs from the UK and 5,000 from around the world. And it's gaining popularity in other countries now because of reactions that we're having to our industry. That's it, you know, there's no way to get away from it. That's what it started with. I'd had clients react. I was busy sleeping on my sofa, worried to death what this was doing to my clients. Had I done this? Why had it happened? I'm very much into the science of products. And the more I've gone into my career, I like to know the science. I like to know what ingredients are in there, why they're in there, what kind of job they do. You know, if we take that ingredient out, what we're going to replace it with, all that kind of stuff. Which is obviously why I wanted to get to the bottom of why these reactions were happening. And then all of a sudden I had other techs message me going, Suzanne, have you heard of this? And showing me pictures that looked exactly like my clients. And it came to the fact there were 12 techs and we had 53 client reactions between us.
Wow.
Now, so this was 3 years ago, 3 and a bit years ago. So for the 20 years prior to that I'd been in the industry, I hadn't heard or knew of anybody personally having one reaction, let alone all of a sudden knowing about 53 reactions, and all from 2 particular brands.
Wow.
Which was the common denominator when I asked very lengthy questions and had very lengthy conversations with these techs to try and figure out why it was happening, you know, what was going on, what lamp we were using, what solutions we were using to get to the common denominators. And then we approached the brands and got nowhere. You know, there was legal threats sent straight away. So in the end, there was a few conversations happening. A few people had tried to mention it in other groups, other nail groups, but because most of the groups on Facebook are all brand led, none of the brands wanted to get involved in it.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, we need somewhere to talk about this and we need to share this with other people. You know, let's find out how big the problem is. And that's how Nail Tech Awareness came out. In the first 3 days, we had 700 techs join.
Jesus.
Which just blew my mind, because they were either techs I knew that were already on my Facebook. I was already in lots of groups, already all sorts of stuff I've done in the industry. I'd connected with lots and lots of nail techs. And then they were obviously recommending their friends. So 3 days later, I've got 700 members. Like, my phone was pinging all the time. Bearing in mind, I'm still working in the salon at this point, 10-hour days, and trying to do this. And I was like, what's going on? And it's just gone from there. It's just exploded and exploded. And the more it's happening, the more techs we get joined, the more it's mentioned in other groups, the more people we get joined. I mean, we know I've got admins that help me now, because for a long time, for about 18 months, I did it on my own. and I've had lots of admins join, come and go over the years, but I've currently got 4 admins helping. And we know when it's been mentioned in another group, because every day we'll have 20, 50 people wanting to join. I think we have 400 join a week currently, but it'll be all of a sudden you'll get 100 or 200 join on like one evening,
and, it's like,
and we'll all message
on?
each other and go, what group's it been mentioned in then, because you know. So yeah, that was how it came about and how it's still there today. I mean, it's become so much more than just reactions. People go to Nail Tech Awareness because I think, you know, this more than ever, I feel more than ever in the years that I've been in the industry, more people work on their own because they've got more cabins at home, converted garages, or maybe mobile, or they've just rented a room somewhere, maybe at the back of a hairdresser's or something. More people work on their own, so they've got no colleagues to kind of discuss.
I think our industry is now around the 70% mark, solopreneur or mobile, as in not in a team, not in a building, not in a salon environment. So you're right, people need somewhere to go to learn, to meet people, and to feel supported, and they've got a support network. And
feel like you have some sort of colleagues, because, you know, husbands, boyfriends, partners, mums, dads, brothers, sisters, whoever, are great to a certain extent that you can vent to them or maybe share an idea to them, but if they're not in the industry, they're not going to fully understand it, so they can't really give you the feedback. You know, if you're saying, oh, I'm thinking of introducing this new product, they don't know what that product is or what products you've currently got. So yeah,
we've got a little bit of we've actually got a little bit of a not a rule with my family, but I can't talk that much about work. So I don't
really.
Yeah, so I don't know if you've seen, I've just come back from a 4-day trip in Budapest with all my siblings, and I think I was in the taxi, and before the sentence even ended, my brother, who was sat in the front of the taxi, turned around and went, we're not going to hear about your bloody show for the whole holiday, are we? I just got back from Olympia, from our entity stand, and so they don't care. It's a bit like, you know, everyone's gone for a reset, and even if that would have happened, by the way, even if we weren't in another country, even if we weren't on holiday, they're not interested. So we need to find our own tribe that get it.
We do.
And that have the same passions and values as us and want to learn like us. And so
well, I'm the same as you. You know, I've got 4 grown-up boys between 25 and 28 years old. They don't want to talk about nails with me as much as I want to tell them what I've been doing in my day. I mean, they're interested if I've been somewhere or if I've done something or something different, but they don't want to hear the day-to-day stuff, you know. And my husband kind of gets it up to here, but my husband's very good with the business side of things. He's always been my go-to when I need kind of business advice, if you like. But yeah, nails, no, hasn't got a clue. You know, he might say my nails look nice once in a blue moon, but that's about the level of what we're going to get. But yeah, we do need we need to find our own tribe. We need to find people that get it, that we can share ideas with, we can get ideas from. You know, if you're struggling with filling your days, you know, hopefully you've got somebody you can talk to with how to fill your days. If you want to change your website or change your booking system or introduce new products or a brand new treatment to your service menu, then you want somebody to kind of discuss that with and go, because your clients are always going to go, yeah, get it in, do that, you know, because they don't know either. They just want you to have it all. But
well, we've obviously got this group, obviously, but we've got our memberships, and actually it made me just think then of one of our memberships, the BBA, the Beauty Business Academy. Now it's a pre-recorded business course every month to a dashboard that they have access to, and they have we have something called the Beauty Boss Vault, which is supports them and creates content for them for their Instagram and all the stuff that we hate, right? You know, all that creative stuff, and we love being creative, but in a different way, right? On nails and on makeup, not so much online. But they also get an hour mentoring call with me. And do you know, on that call,
you'll get asked all sorts, I can imagine.
But I mean, I do, but not just that, to one another. It's like, I'm having this issue in my salon with my girls, or I've got this pain in the ass client and I work on my own. So it's that space created so they can bounce ideas like salon owner. Sometimes I'm just there like this. I'll just sit here and have a coffee. Like I let them crack on. You know? And it's just creating that space for them because we don't get it with our friends. And I say our friends, I mean our best friends, our friends from school, our real friends, and our family members and husbands and stuff. Like you say, they're just not really into it like us.
But yeah, they can't give you the information and feedback that you really want. So it is like having a colleague, you know, even if you don't work in the same salon as each other, you do the same thing. You both do nails all day, you both do pedicures all day, you both do eyebrows or whatever it is. So you can sit there and talk to each other and kind of, you know, it's a really nice to be able to share that, you know, and help somebody else and feel like you're not on your own as well. That's the mainstay from it, isn't it? You know, lots of, like you've said, if 70% of techs are working on their own, they don't want to feel like they're working on their own.
No.
That's the last thing anybody wants, you know.
Yeah, we do. I don't know how long you've been in this group for, but we do every Christmas we do a Secret Sister. So our secret oh my god, I love it. Our Secret Sister initiative is like Secret Santa, but it's Secret Sister, and we do it all through this group. And we manage it all here in the office, which before we got this office it was all managed, you know, when we were remote, all in our own homes and stuff. And basically we have techs sending presents to each other all across the country.
I love that.
Oh my god, Suze, it's amazing. And then obviously we encourage them to do a little reveal on their stories and say what they've got and tag us in. Some do, some don't, but it's just amazing to, and then we know who sent what to who. So we're like, oh, that lipstick came from that lady, and that pair of socks, and that glass of wine, and that bottle of wine, and that Marks and Spencer's voucher. And these are people that don't have Christmas work dues. You know, these are ladies that work all year round to make other people feel good. And at the time of the year, you're then really in labor to really, you know, meet everyone's expectations for their parties and for their Christmas and whatever. That's when we kind of probably go a little bit more rundown, or, you know, like really in labor. So
I think when you see other people having all these amazing parties or whatever, you know, their workers, you kind of do start to feel a bit alone, you know. And again, it's that word alone, and nobody wants that feeling. So exactly what you just said. I love the Secret Sister idea. That's brilliant. I used to do in the village where my salon was, I used to organise at Christmas a Christmas do for any of the businesses that only had kind of 1 or 2 staff. So they would only be going out, you know, obviously nobody would go out on their own, but if there was 2 of them, they might have gone out for dinner or lunch or something. But we would do it collectively together, and we would do the Secret Santa around the table.
Yeah.
But, you know, there was probably only 10 or 12 of us at a time, but it meant that those people suddenly felt like they had a Christmas do to go to, and they felt part of something, you know. And it was nice for me as well, because, you know, in as much as I did have girls working for me over the years and maybe renting space from me and stuff, it was still nice to just to be able to connect with the other businesses as well, you know. And again, that whole connecting with other businesses, what you can achieve together throughout the year. You know, we did a breast cancer charity evening one night, and it was a bit of like a pamper evening, but we had somebody that did styling, somebody that did Botox, you know, all different kind of walks of life, and brought everybody together. And that came from just connecting with other businesses, because you all live locally, so you've all got probably a few clients of the same, you know, they're visiting you, they're visiting the Botox lady, or they're visiting the eyebrow lady, or whatever it is. So yeah, it's just nice to come together. You know, why would you not want to?
So that then leads me on to your current role with your ambassador hat on, because now you're connecting in a whole new way, you know, and you're giving back all over again and meeting people all over again in a different way.
Yeah, it's been a crazy ride. So I'm now brand development manager for Layla Bell, which is kind of a posh way of me shaking things up, I'm gonna say. I think that's the right way, because I'm getting involved in education, in events, what products we want to bring in, what products we've already got, how we market them. I'm currently changing the website. I'm sending the website lady lists of what I want changed, what I want moved, what's not in the right place, if I don't like the way it looks visually. because again, like we said before, we've got amazing people here that do marketing and PR and graphics and all the rest of it. You know, they're fantastic at their jobs. And I'm just kind of giving that perspective of a nail tech and a beauty therapist of how we talk, the terminology, how we use that product, you know. So maybe they haven't looked at I'm maybe showing them a different angle of how we can market it, or, you know, it should be in that kit and not in that kit, or, you know, whatever the case may be. So yeah, there's kind of a lot going on at the moment. A lot I can't say. But yes, I mean, I've been to Belgium recently. We took 4 educators on the FootLogix trainer training to become educators. And I went through that process with them so I could fully understand the product. I'm about to go on in 6 weeks somewhere else.
I'll see you there.
Yeah, you will.
See you there.
I can't mention that one at the moment. So, but in 6 weeks I will be somewhere else. And yeah, lots of other things kind of planned. It started off with a conversation where Jamie, for anyone that doesn't know, is one of the directors at Layla Bell. He called me about something else. And we just had a very long chat about all sorts of stuff. And I was going, oh, you guys should be doing this, and you should be doing this, and what about this? And you've got this amazing product. And I got off the phone and I phoned my husband and I kind of gave him the gist of the conversation. And I said, do you think they want to work with me on a more permanent basis? And he said, maybe. So I was like, right. So I sent Jamie an email. Do you fancy working with me? And he went, yeah, hell yeah, let's do it. In what capacity? So we had a chat with both Jamie and Darren. And it was just kind of, what could I bring to the table, you know, basically. So I made a whole list of what I thought maybe areas they were missing or areas that needed enhancing, what I could help with, what I could bring. Some of it involved people that were already doing that part of that job. So it was how I could work with those people within the company. And then, yeah, we just started 3.5 months ago now, I think, it's been a whirlwind, absolute whirlwind. I don't know where those weeks, months have gone.
You came into what we call pre-season, so pre-show season,
yep.
which take literally months and months and months to organise. Well, yeah, we've had our chats at the show, haven't we?
Yeah, and I don't think, you know, you've seen this. You've seen comments after the show where people have posted in Nail Tech Awareness and wherever else. Oh, I was disappointed with the show and this, that, and the other, and I wish there was this, you know. And I said, some of those stands can cost up to 80 grand and more, but most of them are probably 20 to 50 grand, you know, without knowing that you're actually going to recoup that money. It's a lot for a brand to go to the shows when there's maybe something else they want to do or change or upgrade, or, you know, maybe they want to move premises and they could use that 80 grand moving premises, you know,
definitely.
like.
So I did the shows for 10 years, and out the 10 years, 2 shows in particular, because I tested and did a different framework every time. And 2 of the years cost me 100K. 100 grand.
Wow.
And that was when we were the creative beauty group and we needed something big enough to house our lash area, our tanning area, our nail area. We had 2 nail brands, our glitter brand, demo stations, all of that. Like there's I've actually said in the past, when organizing a show, it's like organizing a wedding.
It absolutely is.
It is
crazy money, crazy time, crazy resources. I mean, just the actual, you know this, because you and I were both there, you know, unpacking boxes and putting stock out, the actual putting the stand together and, you know, the finishing touches. It's, you know, until you've seen that side of things, I don't think anyone can fully appreciate it, you know, which is why I've kind of, you know, I put a post out in Nail Tech Awareness to kind of explain this is what happens, and this is why you don't have people having the big stands they used to, because we don't know we're going to get the footfall. We don't know we're going to recoup the costs that we've spent on it that we could be spending somewhere else. You know, when somebody rings up and says, I don't like your website, or I don't like who you use to deliver your products or whatever, you know, all of that costs money. And we have to sit here and work out where we want to spend our money, you know, to get the best advantage for everybody. And yeah, I wish people could see the behind the scenes a bit more, because it does take a lot, like you said, the months of planning.
We need to do almost like a big initiative, a big campaign where it's like everyone has to go to this one show. Like, just show up and represent the sector. Just come to the show, even if you don't need to, even if you don't particularly want to, but you want to see our industry continue to grow and continue to thrive. Just show up, because you're going to think, oh, I don't need anything. Oh, it's going to take me 2 hours to get there. Hands down, once they get there, they will be glad they did, because it's not just about what I said in my post as well. I also did a post because I saw very similar comments. You saw. It's not always just about going to the show to get a show deal or who's there. There's so many community feels and networking. Again, it's about coming back to our tribe, you know, and meeting people.
I think I'm going to say for the last 9 or 10 years, I didn't go to the show to get any show deals. Because I'd got very consistent in my salon about when I bought things. You know, I bought things in bulk so that, you know, they would last me a certain amount of time. I'd buy new colours when they were released, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, and I wasn't at the point where I wanted to introduce any new treatments, you know, because I'd cut my service menu down. I was just doing waxing, tinting and nails and pedicures, you know, that was it. So I didn't need to be looking at the massage and the facial stands and the eyelashes and the teeth whitening and whatever else is there. I didn't need any of that. What I did need and what I did want, more to the point, was to network with other people. So I built relationships with brands. I built relationships with people. You know, I know nail techs from all over the UK and all over the world at this point. You know, I've got a friend in Switzerland who I just visited in February. I met her through nails. You know, that's our common denominator. We met on Salon Geek 20 years ago. So there were people that would go to the show because it's on every 6 months, and they would make the effort to go. And then I would go and connect with them at the show, and we'd get to sit for half an hour, an hour. You get so much more with somebody in person than you do. Online is fantastic because we can connect with so many more people on different levels. But in person, you just don't get that. And if like you've just said, if people don't make the effort to go to the shows, even if they think they don't need something, they will come away having learnt something. They'll have connected with somebody within the industry, whether it's a brand, an educator, you know, it could be anybody. They'll have probably met a couple of nail techs that they've made friends with. Again, they've connected with them. The bonds they'll share with those nail techs over the years and the conversations they can have will mean more to them than the 2-hour journey it took them to get there, because they'll have forgotten about that. And if we don't start making the effort, then everything is going to go online, and all we're ever going to do is this.
Yeah, I know. And this is lovely, but you're right. It's filling the gap. And I actually think back now to the shows when they were at their peak. And when I was doing road shows with my own ideas, my own events up and down the country. And do you know what? A lot of our customers would car share, like people that I've never even met before, but they would connect in one of my Facebook groups, and then they would take it maybe into their own little messenger group, I don't know, and then just start sharing the fuel. One was the driver, sharing the expenses, sharing in the same car, and becoming almost like a little bit of a girly road trip. You know? Like, it's just what is there not to like?
I can't tell you the amount of times I've gone to a nail event and I've actually shared a room with someone I've never met in person before. You know, don't get me wrong, they're not complete strangers to me. I've met them, if you like this, you know, and we've chatted online and Messenger and stuff and got to know each other, and a friendship has formed. But then when you're going to a lot of these events, and I always say this, when you're going to things like the beauty shows and that, those costs should be coming out of your business. You know, it's not an added expense. They are coming out of your business because they're for your business. So if you want to, you know, if you book a travel lodge like far enough in advance, you can get them for like £50. If you share that with someone, it's £25 each. We're not talking a massive amount of money here, you know, and for you, what you're going to get for that money, it should be worth it. And I think every nail tech should be putting themselves, like you know, going to the beauty shows, making the effort, because watching the demos, talking to people, the people you're going to meet, the education that's put on those stages every day, every hour of every day, you know, yeah, just what you learn, what you take home, that knowledge, and knowledge is power. I say this a lot. The more knowledge you have for your own industry, not just the products you use, but you're aware of what's around you as well. I've always known and tested other products way before nail tech awareness, because I wanted to know if a client walked in and they had entity on their nails, I wanted to know how long it took to remove, that I wasn't sitting there panicking going, oh my God, how long is this going to take to get off? I knew how long it was going to take, and it wasn't going to take any longer than what I was currently using. So time wise, I was fine. Because you do get clients that turn up and they've got a full set of something already on and they're not booked in for a soak off. And if you know what's on their nails, you know if you can work with it or not. If it's something like a set of acrylics, or you know, from an NSS salon or something, you know you haven't got the time to do it. You're going to have to either buff and do a bit of colour, book them in for something another time, or send them away and you can't do the service. You know, you make that decision. But you need to know what else is out there. You can't just be in your little bubble of what you use. You know, you fully need to understand. The amount of times I see that question in nail tech awareness where people go, I've got a client booked in and she's got whatever the product is on. How do I get it off? You know, how long does it take? We kind of just need to know these things, because clients swap salons. They don't. We think they're loyal, but they'll always want to go where there's a bargain, or where they can save a few pennies, or they feel like they're getting more value for their money. You know, so you need to know what you're soaking off. You can't always say
just having consumer behavior. That's really it in a nutshell. So
you just need to be aware of what's going on in your industry, so that you're always armed with the facts and knowledge that you need to do your job to the best of your possible ability and grow your business to the best it can be.
Love all of that. Love everything that you said, you know, about that as well, which is why I said we need to kind of do something to say to everyone, just get to the show, you'll be pleased that you did. It's compounding, exactly what you said, taking your business's money, going to the show, investing in hotels and events and products, and then it's only for the benefit of your business and your career anyway. So it's you know,
why I've never understood why somebody wouldn't want to go to a show and go to each stand and watch the demos, because I've been in the industry 23 years. I'm going to learn something from watching all of those demos, because none of us know it all. Somebody's going to have done something quicker, more efficient, more cost effective. You know, imagine if you could go to the show and you pick up one tip that's going to save you £50 a month, £100 a month in your salon. You're going to think, well, that trip's paid for itself, you know. I think people need to look at the bigger picture and start looking outside the box, rather than I don't need to go to just buy those products, or because I don't need those products. I want to go because I just want to be aware of what's in the industry. I want to watch some demos and connect with people. You know what? You never know where those connections are going to lead. I mean, hence me being here today.
I was just about to say exactly that. I was just about to say, just like where you are now.
I built up friendships and connections with a lot of brands, you know, through nail tech awareness. I'm lucky that Layla Bell is within an hour drive of my house. So I have been here before I started working here. I had been to head office a couple of times and had meetings with the guys and phone calls and stuff, because it's, you know, it's within a commutable distance, you know. And, you know, without having to spend overnight stays and stuff, I have been able to just kind of pop here for a couple of hours, you know. But if I hadn't built up that friendship with Layla Bell, would I be here now? If I hadn't created nail tech awareness, would I be here now? You know, you can't honestly look back and say where your future is going to lead, but you can try and help the way your future evolves and where you end up in the industry if you put yourself out there. And that's all it is.
It's just so lovely, like the way you break up your week, your working week now. You know, you've got X amount of days at home, hands on the tools, you know, keeping your skills in tip-top condition, and then you switch to almost consultancy mode, you know, where you're getting paid for your experience, your expertise, it's coming at a value to their marketing team, as an example, and I'm sure other departments too. And it's just a very smart way to leverage your skills, you know, and gets you away from the nail desk. So you've got that variety in your week, and it's keeping you hungry, and it's keeping you, you know, it's still a very exciting career because you've just kind of opened a whole new door.
I am absolutely living the dream. You know, a few people that I spoke to a nail tech and actually an educator yesterday, and she was like, oh my God, your job, I'm not jealous at all, honestly. You know, when I was telling her some of the things that I was doing, and I said, you know, I do feel very, very lucky and very privileged to be in the position I'm at, but I worked damn hard to get here at the same time. You know, this didn't come easily. I'd say just before lockdown, I knew I didn't want to be in my salon every day anymore. I knew that. I was moving house. I was moving to have my dad come and live with me. I didn't want to be going, Dad, come and live with me, and then I'm out 12 hours every day. I didn't want that, you know. I wanted to be able to spend time with him. And I think lockdown as well taught us all about the whole work-life balance, because you suddenly started realizing when you're working on that hamster wheel in that salon, and it's just day in, day out, and you know, you're not having a break from it. I mean, I was working 7 days a week in the end, because I was doing photo shoots on Sundays, which was supposed to be my day off. I was organising fashion shows. I was working London Fashion Week. I had a team at London Fashion Week. I flew to Ibiza Fashion Festival. I was doing all these amazing things, but on top of my salon. Wow. So, you know, it did start to take its toll. And I'm going to say lockdown taught me a lot. You know, it taught me that I was very poorly at that point. I was in and out of hospital just 3 years ago. My husband thought I wasn't going to come out alive at one point. Wow. That taught me a lot. And then having to sit at home, and I'd never been able to just sit around. You know, when I had my children, I didn't take more than 3 weeks maternity leave, because I'm a workaholic. I'm my own worst enemy, but I love what I do. And at the end of the day, needs must. Everyone needs to earn a wage. And when you're doing things like nails, it's very difficult to take 9 months out of work or a year or whatever you want to take, because you feel you're going to lose those clients. Do you know what I mean? You've built it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, lockdown taught me that I definitely wanted something else. Doing the photo shoots and fashion shows showed me that there was a different side to just being on the nail desk, but it was a side that I wanted to do very shortly. I didn't want to do that forever. You know, it's a hard life being on the road all the time and doing nails here, there and everywhere and stuff. You know, I knew I didn't want to be doing that. And with nail tech awareness and things that were evolving in nail tech awareness, I just knew I wanted something else. Hadn't quite figured out which avenue I was going, because they were, you know, you can go educator, you can start your own brand, you can, you know, be a distributor. I was offered all of those things with different people, to be a distributor, to, you know, even to run salons for people and all sorts of stuff. I was offered so many amazing opportunities, but none of them quite sat right for me, for one reason and another, you know. And I'm not to say that they're not for other people, but we all have to do what's right for us. And I wanted to pull on my own strengths. And then, yeah, over time, I kind of started to realise where I wanted to be, I suppose, but still didn't know how to get there. And that chance phone call with Jamie that day, he rang me and he piqued my interest with things that he was saying. And I was like, oh my God, this might be it, you know, like, and I didn't know I wanted to do this role before. I suppose it had kind of been coming and the idea had been maybe forming, but I didn't really know this kind of role existed, if you like, which it didn't, obviously, because they've created it for me. But, you know, I've been able to pull on all my strengths and everything that I love and throw the passion together, the creativity, the knowledge for the industry, you know, literally thrown all that together. It's like baking a cake, all the ingredients, and all of a sudden it's come about, you know. And I am very, very grateful to be doing what I'm doing, because I absolutely feel like I'm living the dream.
I love that.
You know, you've got to do what you love at the end of the day, because then it doesn't feel like work, does it?
Yeah. And this is, you know, again, something I say a lot in this group and a lot of my own teachings, as I say that you're in labor when you are head down, you know, buffing or filing away, you're in labor in that moment. And you need to remove yourself from being the business or being in the business, the hamster wheel, you know, analogy that you mentioned before. You need that space to be able to look on your, you know, at your business, an overview on your business, to figure out where you want to go to next. And it comes back to the whole work-life balance. And I know you and thousands of others in the industry had that mic drop moment or that penny drop moment during one of the lockdowns. And I've said actually quite a few times, lockdown was a gift to a lot of people. COVID-19, I know I had awful stuff, you know, lots of people lost their lives and loved ones. And I mean, wow, to have gone, when you think back and think the world literally shut down for the best part of 2 years, maybe longer, I don't know. But a lot of people thought that as, wow, this has given me permission to look at other ventures, give myself a bit of balance, spend some time at home with loved ones that maybe I wouldn't have done if I had to have gone to work and been in labor all those hours. And I actually even did a challenge. I did a 2-week challenge, which was Lockdown with Layla. Lockdown with Layla. And one of those parts of the challenge was to say no. Find things to say no to. Find people to say no to. That nail art, you know it's not making you money. You don't like doing it. You're not particularly good at it. Take it off your price list. Say no. That member of staff, you know that you're hemorrhaging money. You know that you don't really need that staff. We know that staff wages are the biggest, you know, amount that comes out of our bottom line. Say no. Let go of the staff. Give yourself permission to say no to others, so it says yes to you as part of my challenge. And the amount of people that messaged me after that whole no thing was like, I said no to a client and she was okay. And well, of course she's okay. She's just another person. Of course she's okay. But we have to go through these things in the moment to realize that actually there is more to life than just being sat at that nail desk 7-8 hours.
There is.
You know,
there is. There's other, like
you
talk about a lot of, you know, having other revenues of ways of, you know, bringing money in and stuff. And that's so true, because, you know, you don't just have to be earning money while you're sitting at the nail desk. You know, have a website with a retail, you know, products that you clients can be ordering from the website. So you know, you could earn money before you've even got out of bed in the morning. During lockdown, I was doing online workshops. I did, you know, they're very, very basic workshops, I'm going to say, that I literally recorded on my phone because that's all I had in lockdown. I'd never done it before in my life. And I've literally created Facebook groups for each workshop and posted all the videos in there, and people pay their £10. You know, we're not breaking the bank. Those workshops kept me going during lockdown because, one, I had to record all the videos for them. 2, I had to, you know, people were messaging, showing me what they'd created or done with, you know, the workshops. They kept me going because we all needed something, but it was just finding what worked for everybody. You know, I was selling to clients little pamper packages of how to look after their nails at home, you know, and I would go out one day a week and deliver them. It was only in my village, you know, it took me an hour probably to deliver them all, but one day a week, that was what I would do. I wasn't earning a huge amount of money on them, but 1, it gave me something to do. 2, it kept my brain going. 2, it kept me a little bit active and gave me a reason to get out of the house and have kind of conversations with clients. You know, even though it was just through Messenger and whatever, it was still conversations with people. I think it is just about, again, putting yourself out there and figuring out what else you can do. Don't just think that your nail desk is this little box that you're kind of locked into. There is a whole world outside of that box, and one person's going to go out that side and one person's going to go out that side. Someone's going to go forward, someone's going to climb out of it backwards, but there are so many roads and avenues. It's just finding what works for everybody. Everybody's got a strength and everybody's got a weakness, and we all need to play to our strengths. Maybe build on your weaknesses at the same time, maybe not. Exactly what you just said about, you know, like if you're doing extensions in your salon and you're not very good at them and they keep popping off and you haven't got time to kind of work on them, remove them off of your menu until you do build the confidence and you do build that skill set, because there's nothing worse than going into work thinking, oh God, I've got a set of nails to do and I really don't want to do them and the money's not even worth it. So remove it. If the money's not even worth it, remove it off your menu and fill it with a client who is worth it, who you are going to have enjoyment, you know, from, because you've spent time and you enjoyed doing that treatment. You just don't have to be sat in that box anymore of what you think a nail tech should be doing. There's a whole bright wide world out there and we should all be enjoying it.
I'm going to mention as well, actually, a cheeky little mention as we bring this to a close, which has been amazing, by the way. So we have just finished preparing a checklist, a recession checklist for salon owners in particular. Well, it's really for business owners or women in business. We're all about the women in business here. And on there are a couple of little things that we've put on there to suggest becoming more of an expert and going back to what you just said, removing certain services from the treatment menu if they're not making you enough money. And I'm this particular checklist, I'm all about the profit. This is all about working through a recession and making sure that you're still paying the salary you want to pay yourself, and you've still got money at the end of the month to pay your staff wages and your bills and all the other stuff that's going up and up and up. And so this recession checklist, as well as other things that we've got happening to help and support salons through the recession, is going to really come back to, let's just get to the money moves. Let's just get to this strong mindset that not only can we get through the other side of this as a business, we're going to thrive, we're going to grow through it. So, and some of those things that we're suggesting does mean removing yourself from your comfort zone. You know, your nail table, if that's your comfort zone, or behind your lash couch, if that's your little bubble or whatever. And you know, the rest then is down to them to take action. There's only so much you can say. The rest really comes down to them taking the action and then seeing the results for themselves. So absolutely. There's a big wide world out there, and everybody should at least dip their toe in something else to see if they like it or not. If you don't like it, go back to your nail desk. If that's where you get the most enjoyment from, nobody's saying that you don't have to do that. It's just there are other things that you could maybe do: part-time nails and part-time educator, part-time nails and part-time something else. You know, it's just finding something that gives you the balance that you want in life, I suppose, and the enjoyment from your career. I had one lady, I had more than one lady, but this one particular conversation sticks in my mind, and then we really should go. Because we'll just do this again for the next. I know. I need to go as well. So let's. She wanted to leave the industry. It was lockdown too, because I was still in my place in Spain, and she wanted to leave the industry. She was based at home. She had a decent enough clientele base. She felt guilty. The guilt that this lady felt to consider leaving the industry. And of course, I get it. It's scary when you think about, I've wanted to often thought about doing something else, which is non-industry related, but I'm in this industry and I do what I do every day. And my voice notes to her were literally, your business is there to fund your life, not the other way around. It's there to manage your expectations, not the other way around. You're not on this planet to sit in that little space that you created at home, filing nails forever, you know, to make ends meet, or to not necessarily to make ends meet. She could be making a lot of money, but she went through this huge guilt of feeling like she was, all of it, I guess, all the emotions. What does she say to her clients? How does she close the page down without people noticing? Or how does she announce it? And blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the end result was she moved away from the industry, and she now has a coffee shop. And wow. And you know what? She's loving this new, because we come into this industry thinking that we've got to give our whole life to it forever, and we absolutely don't. I mean, you know, I have another whole company, non-industry related. And we're more than the industry. We can love it. We can be passionate and creative and loyal and all the rest of it. But we have to come back to we're business women. We're women in business, and it's got to serve our life's needs so that we can fulfill our life and the loved ones around us. But yeah, I feel like that could go into a whole other conversation. It could. So I'm literally sitting here thinking, you and I could keep going. We actually could keep going. This is like a whole day. This is, you know, we could talk about all the different avenues you could go. We could spend a whole day doing that. But I think we've got some comments here. So we've got lovely Sue Davies. Hi, Sue. And you know what? Sue went through a very, very similar period like you. I know Sue won't mind me saying, through the lockdown, you know, she sold her salon, she moved home, she launched her own podcast. So again, leveraging her skills to help people in the industry. I'm sure there's a money strategy behind it, of course. But, you know, impact and income, my two favorite eyes, and Sue's doing it, which is amazing, you know. What else have we got here? Kirsten. Oh, hey, Kirsten. I had a cancellation and been listening to your great conversation. Thank you. Yeah, thanks, ladies. It's like lockdown hearing your voice, Layla. Yes, exactly. So it's like all the lockdown talks all over again. Morning, Rachel. Sue saying we should do a group podcast. Oh my God, could you imagine? Me, you, and Sue. We have to book out the day. It's not a bad idea though, is it? It's a very good idea, Sue.
See, we see opportunity everywhere it goes.
Yeah, exactly. Right, I will let you go off and do your thing at Llewellyn.
Thank you.
Thank you so
I
much
have got
for your
meetings
time.
back to back all day, so I'm going to dash now to another. It's been
you.
so nice talking to you. Thank you for having me.
And listen, we'll do it again, definitely. So, okay, lots of love. Thanks, Sue.
See you later.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.